Welcome to this new video where we're going to talk about Project Motor Racing. It's a game I already made a video about several weeks ago, and it could very well be the big surprise in terms of racing games for the year, 2025. For two main reasons we'll discuss in this video. The first one is the career mode, about which we got a lot of information directly from the developers. Honestly, the career mode looks exceptional. And honestly, I don't know of any other games that offer a career system similar to what this game is going to offer. But we're also going to talk about the release date, we're going to talk about platforms, and we're going to talk about a lot of new information about the game. I hope the game will interest you, as I think it's going to be my big game of the year end. Anyway, feel free to use the comments section to let me know if it's a game you're looking forward to or not. If you're interested in the game, subscribe as I'll be making many videos when more announcements are made, to keep you updated on the news about Project Motor Racing. A few days ago, the game's developers released a new trailer and several written pieces of information. And already, the first good news is that this game is coming out in November 2025, the 25th, just 5 months away, so it'll go by quickly. Honestly, it feels good because there haven't been any major racing game releases this year. In any case, not a truly final version because unlike its competitors like, for example, Assetto Corsa Evo, this game isn't coming out in early access, so not in early access, but is actually being released directly as a final version. Which means that, technically, most of the bugs will have been fixed. And that it won't be the players who are used as guinea pigs to find the different problems in the game. However, updates and downloadable content are still possible. At the very least, it appears to ensure a specific quality standard for the game's release on November 25th, 2025. The game is confirmed for PC, Xbox, and PlayStation 5. For those who have never heard of the game, this is a racing simulation. Big budget, designed by Jan Bell. He's a veteran of the racing game world, having made excellent games like the Grand Touring Racing series and Need for Speed Shift. While it may seem strange as it's not a simulation, he understands the racing game industry intimately and has a good grasp of what players desire. In the category of true sim racing, we're discussing an ultra-realistic racing game, which promises to be quite nice graphically and will have a physics engine developed specifically for the game. According to the developers, it is shaping up to be one of the most realistic. And one particular thing, in terms of artistic choices for this game, is that it doesn't just focus on modern event categories. The game will feature cars from the 2024 24 Hours of Le Mans, as well as race categories from the 1970s through the 1990s. That era was incredible, and I believe it was the golden age of motorsport competitions, with some truly crazy things happening. This new trailer was an opportunity for the developers to talk about two things. First, the career mode, and second, the game modes. And the career mode is shaping up to be particularly cool, and also especially realistic, and above all, truly unique. Because this game will offer a stable management system and budget management that, personally, I've never seen anywhere else. Even in major games like F1 and Project Motor Racing's career mode, you create your own team. You'll have the choice between 3 difficulties, 3 ways to approach this career, either beginner, professional, or global. If I understood correctly, that will primarily determine your initial budget and the scope of factors the career will consider. Beginner will be simplified, while global will offer more customizations, especially for teams, and to more advanced budget management. And actually, no matter what difficulty you choose, a big part of the game's career mode will rely on the budget, and it will take into account things that I've personally never seen in other games. For example, when you create your team, you'll have to choose your headquarters, where you want to set up. There are plenty of games where you're asked for your team's nationality, but it's only to have a little flag that matches. This game will impact your finances. For instance, if you set up in Europe, but regularly choose to compete in events in the United States or China during your career, you will have to pay logistics fees to simply simulate the costs, for example, of transporting vehicles and your various infrastructure costs. So, it will be a choice that shouldn't be taken lightly. And if, for example, you plan to do more European circuits, it might be wiser to set up in a European country. There will be other financial aspects managed in the game, including having to pay for repairs to your own cars, but also for the repairs of other people's cars that you damage. Now, I know that this mechanic is a bit of a double-edged sword. I don't know if, by the way, we'll be able to disable all these mechanics if we really want to have a simplified demolition experience. I know that for example, back in the days of Just Un on the PlayStation 2, I know that. Did having to pay for your own repairs and those of other cars really motivate you to drive as carefully and cleanly as possible? Because sometimes, winning but having $15,000 in damages was less profitable than coming in third but having zero damages. There will be several ways to make money in the game, which is a really cool aspect. The management, sponsorships, since there will be several ways to finance your team, several economic models, and it will all depend on the sponsor you choose. Some sponsors may offer you a fixed payment. That means from the moment you commit to a race, you get a fixed amount that will be given to you each time. No matter your result, it will be based on the prestige, for example, of the car you will use for the race. The least risky type of contract, but possibly also one of the least profitable. There will be others with a fixed amount system, but where, to pocket your money, you'll have to make sure your car comes back intact. There will be other sponsorship contracts where the sponsor will pay all your expenses. That means, specifically, the logistics to move your cars from one country to another. For infrastructure management, but they will only give you a small payment at the end of your races. And we know that there will literally be dozens of ways to get funding in the game, probably one for each type of sponsor. Personally, I think that's really cool. Once again, I'm happy to see games trying new things. Some people will like it, some won't. We'll see. But at least we can say that Project Motor Racing isn't doing things like everyone else in that regard. And it doesn't just offer a career mode where everything is pretty much predetermined. By the way, something else the developers mentioned is that there won't be any unlocking of cars, meaning all the cars in the game will be purchasable with in-game money, and as soon as you have the money, you'll be able to buy them. For instance, reaching level 40 or completing specific achievements or objectives won't be necessary to unlock them. If you have the money, you can pay. It's simple, but it works. Also, just so you know, when it comes to how the career events play out, it's a bit similar to motorsport. That means you'll buy a car, and it will give you access to different events depending on the model and the restrictions. There's another really cool thing, I think, which is that this career will also offer a hardcore mode. And in that mode, first of all, the difficulty will be at the maximum. But most importantly, there won't be any restarting. That means if you have a collision in a corner with another car and you think, damn, this is going to cost me a lot, I need to restart in hardcore. That won't be possible. You'll have to finish the event and take responsibility for your choices. If you cause major damage, you'll have to pay a very high price. In this mode, and likely in normal mode too, though possibly handled differently, you could end up bankrupt, and if you go bankrupt, that means you're spending too much money compared to what the sponsors are bringing in. Well, that will be the end for your team, and it will be game over in your career. Personally, I think that's really cool too because it adds, let's say, a bit more depth and interest to the different strategic choices we'll make during the event. Is it really worth sacrificing a team that's been around for 2 years just to gain 3 places at Spa in the first corner? Not sure. So, I think it's pretty nice. It's confirmed that the game will have modes available on launch day, which is really cool. As soon as the game launches, we can download community-made mods. And, most importantly, the mods will also be available on console, and I really don't know many games where mods are also available on console. So, I guess that means that for mods, we'll be using a system that's built into the game, which means that maybe before the mods are available, they have to be, approved by the developers, or by an artificial intelligence. Which means that maybe some vehicles or some tracks won't make it through. But overall, if it were just, I don't know. Without Dispo mode, that will already be a huge amount of extra content to test, probably for free. So, it's true that they didn't talk about the prices of the modes, but I think it's free. That's the principle of modding. So, same thing. The game's price was discussed and will be around $60–70, though it's unclear if this was previously announced. So, we're looking at a game price, somewhere between AA and a small AAA, so obviously the game will probably be cheaper. Honestly, it really reminds me of the Tokars and the Dravers, let's say, in terms of the atmosphere. The game features a highly advanced career management system, possibly more sophisticated than most other racing games available. Of course, it might not appeal to everyone. I think there's a part of the players, let's say maybe a bit more casual, in quotes. Some individuals may not favor or be excluded by this career system, even though the simplified mode should make it quite accessible for most. Solo players who dream of having a hardcore career will find this game perfect, as it's possible to have a career without too much trouble. No story to follow. In any case, I hope this little game interested you, and that the video interested you as well. By the way, if that's the case, I'm counting on you to leave a like. Follow me on Twitch, where I regularly live stream. Link below the video. Follow and subscribe if you'd like. It's always appreciated, and it supports the channel. On my end, I wish you a good evening, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next video. Sounds good?